there is a fundamental difference between men and women and girls and boys. The IOC knows this. So they recently came out with a ruling that says only girls can play in girl sports and only men compete in men's sports. And the reason being is because every record holder in an Olympic athletic sport, the man has a superior advantage, like 10 to 20% better than the woman.
Maybe that's because they don't have the right sports. Like if you put making a sandwich in the Olympics.
Bob and Nate, true American heroes. Bob and Nate, true American heroes. Bob and Nate.
Welcome to another amazing edition of Uneducated Men. We are your true American heroes, Nate and Bob. Nathaniel, how are you today?
Just chilling, Bob. How are you today?
Doing fantastic. So we are recording on our platform that gave us a warning that we might be out of hours. This may be a short one till we figure out what's going on.
Who would have thought our Kmart platform would be so limited?
I paid for the pro subscription too, so I'm really disappointed in that. What a difference a week makes. Last week we were sitting here tooting our own horns, pounding our chests about our amazingly clean show, and then this week happened.
Went off the hinge or unhinged.
I ran it through our AI agent, and it just gave us a score of do better. So I'm going to let you kick it off, Nathaniel, because I think we've gotten a lot of feedback on the one that you blew.
I'm very embarrassed about it. We went from Ted Bundy to Ed Bundy and talking about how Al Bundy, or should I say, we didn't talk about Al Bundy scoring 4 touchdowns. So we got the name wrong, but it was a combination of Ted Bundy and Ed O'Neill, which I came up with Ed Bundy. Very embarrassed that I watched that growing up and I got the name wrong, but Ed O'Neill is the actor that plays Al Bundy. But if you do Google Ed Bundy, Ed O'Neill comes up as Al Bundy. I'm just as smart as Google, apparently.
That's a great show. Super funny. I don't think they can make that show today because of things like this.
Difference between men and women?
One works, and the other's woman.
That's it. I'm taking my business elsewhere.
May I suggest Jenny Craig?
Hi, honey. Did you miss me?
With every bullet so far.
Today, they can't do that. You would get run out of town, especially in Hollywood the way it is now.
The WNBA would probably send them a cease and desist letter.
I haven't heard anything back from them, but we did get reported to Spotify. I had to submit an appeal and go through the process. So if you see one of the shows just disappear, then you know that they're winning.
Watching the news today, I don't think the WNBA is winning in anything, but we can talk about that later.
Yeah, we'll definitely jump into that. But so you talked about Ted Bundy. His name was Theodore. I spoke to Ernie Ed, whose real name is Ed, and asked him, has anybody ever called him Ted? And he called me an idiot. And I was like, no, it's a real thing. And he thought I was pulling his chain.
Did he call you an idiot based off the conversation or just in general?
I think just in general.
Okay. Makes sense then.
There are famous people that's named Edward that go by Ted. So I talked about Ted Kennedy, Ted Danson, also Ted Turner. His real name is Ed. Did you know Al Bundy's name on the show was Alphonse Hercules Bundy?
I must have missed that episode, but it makes sense.
That's his name. So we talked about the cease and desist. I said I did not know what desist means, but I know what cease means. So desist means stop. Cease also means stop. So basically, it just means stop and stop. Lawyers have a way of doing this. If you think of null and void, both of them just mean empty. Terms and conditions. Terms and conditions are the same thing. Cease just means stop, and desist just means stop.
Crazy. I had this little friend named Noel, which looks like Knick-Knack from Bond, and I had this bump on my face, and he was pointing at it saying, desist, desist.
Okay, strike one.
I'm playing softball tonight, so that would be the only strike I get.
I use the word I digress. I don't know what that means. I say it all the time. It means I got off track, which I used it correctly, but I didn't know what it meant. I've been saying that for a while. I think that came from Bill Hammond, the white guy doing Jesse Jackson. Another thing that you can't do today. You can't have a white guy playing Jesse Jackson. I digress.
You sure did.
Minnesota lakes. I'd said that Minnesota had less lakes than Wisconsin.
Yeah. I looked it up.
You got all mad about this. Wisconsin has 15,047 lakes. Minnesota has 11,800 lakes. Nothing?
I Googled it as well. I was very disappointed and shocked when I read that. I certainly did not believe you, but Wisconsin sucks anyway. Whatever. Moving on.
Natural lakes in the United States, most of them come from the last ice age where the ice caps came all the way down and they pulled back and they left these lakes. Did you know that Maryland has 0 natural lakes?
I do know that.
You did know that or you didn't?
I did.
No, you
As
did
of
not.
yesterday, I knew that. Yeah.
Okay, because you read the run of show. Did you know Texas only has 1 natural lake?
That's baloney.
Yeah, no.
I will
they
look
have
more into that one.
7,000 man-made lakes in Texas, but only 1 natural lake. And California has 0 natural 10s. They are all manufactured.
Heyo.
That was a pretty good one. Okay, whatever. We talked about salsa.
Yep.
And it was pace. Neither one of us knew the name. It was pace picante salsa.
I believe I did say, whoa. I did say picante.
Yeah, pace picante is the type of salsa. Pace is the brand.
Close enough.
Here's the commercial.
Hey, Cookie, more pecani sauce. This ain't paste pecani sauce.
What's the difference?
Cookie, paste pecani sauce is made in San Antonio with fresh vegetables and spices by people who know what pecani sauce is supposed to taste like.
This stuff's made in New York City?
New York City?
Get a rope.
Now, another commercial that you cannot make again. I had a younger kid listen to the show that had never seen that commercial that asked me, hey, what's up with this whole get the rope thing that you kept saying? Because you kept saying New York City. And I was like, get a rope. And he'd never seen it. It made him uncomfortable almost because of Bubba Watson and all that kind of stuff. I don't know if you can make a commercial today that says, get the rope.
We're so sensitive.
It's a shame, but that's where we're at. People ask me how my date ended when I talked about we went to Nora's and I didn't make the reservation. I can tell you that it did not end well, but it wasn't the worst date that I've ever had. The worst date I ever had wasn't actually a date. I had went to Jacksonville Beach with a buddy of mine. His girlfriend was going to college up there and she had a smoking hot roommate and the two of us connected instantly. We were at the beach having a great time. To say this was a sure thing, if it was an election, I was Hillary Clinton going in to Tuesday morning. We were in the water. We were splashing around. I picked her up like a husband picks up his new bride, bringing her across the boundary.
You mean the threshold?
Whatever it's called. Okay, let me finish the story. Anyway, so I pick her up. She closes her eyes. I lean in to give her what she's been waiting for all day. Unfortunately, I underestimated my strength, or maybe she was a little heavier than I thought. And I lost my balance a little bit and I took a step back. And when I stepped back, I stepped on what was a little sand shark. Now, I have never seen a shark in person up until that point, and it could have been a great white. So I screamed pretty loud. Now, screaming probably would have been okay. But at that point, I decided that I had to get out of the water. But before I did, I threw her on the shark and I ran up the beach screaming, shark, shark. Everybody came crowding around me and I told this tale of the great white that I mercifully got away from until she walked up and explained to everybody that I had thrown her on the shark and ran out of the ocean. Probably would have been able to salvage it there. However, her friend gave me like a dirty comment. Why didn't you carry her out? And I snapped back. I have a bad back. Ending my chances and securing Trump's victory.
Gibble is dead, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, not my most.
I am not shocked.
If you've ever seen Seinfeld, when George Costanza runs out of the burning house, that was me running up the beach screaming. Not my greatest moment.
Just don't understand how you're single there, Bob.
Yeah, I know. Well, listen, the girl that I went on this date with, I'm sure she listens. I don't understand why she wouldn't be. So I am willing to give that another shot. Not really the dating part, but the end part. So if she wants to make up for lost time.
What about the one date that you had where she went to the bathroom and never came back?
Nope. We're not going to tell that story.
Let's talk about that one.
Nope. Clinton. I said that Clinton was adopted. He was not adopted. His father passed away a few months before he was born. His stepdad was named Roger Clinton. He never officially adopted him, but Bill did take his name when he was a teenager. So although he does have a different last name, he was not technically adopted. Bobby pointed that out.
He knows his libs. We'll give Bobby credit for that.
I think that's the last person he voted for. That's what he said, right?
I believe so, yeah. But that's back when...
he was like 40.
Okay. 50. But yeah, that's back when California was a red state.
Very true.
Up until then.
You talked about Nair. Nair is a hair remover that you roll on your body. It's a chemical. It smells like crap. You cannot use it for your genitals.
Live a little.
Yeah, okay. So that's what Nair is for those that asked. Jetsons. We talked about the Jetsons. So the Jetsons.
What could we possibly got wrong about the Jetsons?
I don't know what we got wrong. Here's some fun facts. 1962, the Jetsons came on for the first time. It was on Saturday nights on ABC. It was the first show broadcast in color. They are making a live action Jetsons starring Jim Carrey. So that'd be pretty interesting. I could see him as George Jetson. Here's a fun fact for you. The Flintstones also aired on Saturday nights. It was the first show that showed a husband and wife laying in the same bed together. Up until that time, the husband and wife always were shown in separate beds. The Flintstones breaking barriers.
I thought they were laying in a rock together.
They were rocking it.
Wait, hold on a second. Did the general public believe that two adults slept in different beds, or did a married couple back then actually sleep in different beds?
Probably a little bit of both. I will tell you this. If you have the opportunity to sleep in a different bed today, I would highly recommend it. I would highly recommend that people sleep in different rooms. You would have a much happier life if you slept in different rooms. I remember my grandma didn't, and they slept in different beds. So, yeah.
Maybe they didn't make queen or king size beds back then, but we'll have to get Bobby back on the show to see if him or his parents slept in different beds, because that would be probably the age I would remember.
There was a dick joke that I wanted to cut out that you reached out to me right after and I kept in. And that's what we do here, right? We work together. We stand by each other. Yeah. I wanted to remove it. It made me look bad, but I said, hey, my boy wants me to keep it in. I'll keep it in for him. Speaking of dicks, you know, Steve Kerr, the basketball coach for the Warriors, his brother is actually the coach of Liberty. I said it was Sirius Boner. It's actually Wayne is the coach of the Liberty. Wayne Kerr. Yeah.
Nice to
Wayne Kerr. Yeah, we went over a bunch of fake names. Those names that we had were completely fake. The feedback has been really great. The Tickle Me Elmo crushed it. Everybody loved it. No feedback otherwise. So
actually, now there was plenty of feedback that agreed with me that joke was a bit of a stretch. You love it, so I'm happy for you that Tickle Me Elmo was such a hit in your head. But yeah, it's that's terrible.
That's Tickle Me Elmo. So those are all fictitious names, but I went and looked up real names. I'm going to give you a list of real names and real occupations. So anybody right now can Google these names because they are 100% legitimate. So there was a linebacker for the Green Bay Packers named Mike Hunt. So Mike Hunt is a linebacker for the Green Bay Packers.
I was using that name back in high school, making cold calls like the Beastie Boys or the.
But it's a real name,
not the Beastie Boys. What group was that?
Porky's.
What is it?
Porky's, the movie Porky's.
No. There was a CD. Two guys that would make crank calls all the time. Back in the 90s.
Crank callers? Wasn't it called crank callers?
No. Anyway, moving on.
There's a U.S. Hawk investment group out of California. The owner of that investment group is named Mike Hawk. So in California and your hands, Mike Hawk is big. There's Chubby Cox. He was a Philadelphia 76ers. I believe he was Kobe Bryant's godfather. Chubby Cox. Yeah. So I got a list here. I'll keep going through them. Dick Trickle was a race car driver. Did you know race car spelled backwards is race car? Yeah. That's because you're smart. Harry Balls. Harry Balls was the mayor of Fort Wayne, Indiana. Not surprising. That's where Pete Buttigieg is from. So he was a big fan of Harry Balls and probably still is.
I feel like he prefers guys that put Nair on theirs.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe at this point. Rusty Nuts. Rusty Nuts played for the Kansas City Royals. There was a Irish judge by the name of Willie Stroker. Willie Stroker was an Irish judge. There's an NHL player named Wayne King. So Wayne King was an NHL player. Johnny Dickshot played baseball. Johnny Dickshot. There was a real life Phil McCracken. He was an artist, Phil McCracken. That's a terrible name. I would change my name to Kevin or something like that. Last but not least, there was a wide receiver for the Cleveland Browns named Fair Hooker. I've never met one, but a Fair Hooker is something I would like to meet at some point. So those are all 100% real, legitimate names.
That's an amazing bit there, Bob.
Yeah. It's not a bit. That's legit.
Let's talk about Bob Colin for a while.
Hey, have you ever been to Sakon Resorts?
To where?
Sakon Resorts?
No, California. I don't know what you're talking about.
Suck on these balls, yeah. That's courtesy of Greg Edibles from the Pickleball. He's given me a couple jokes. None of them have been any good, but that one is. And yeah, I'm going to cut it to make it even sound a little better. Moving right along. You said that there was a CFL team in Baltimore. You were correct. 1994-95 champs.
CFL champions.
Yep. They did not get kicked out, however. What happened was the Ravens came to town and they decided to move voluntarily and became the Montreal Alouettes. But there was yeah, they came here, we won, and then they left.
There was a year, though, I think it was like 1993, and I want to say there were 8 American teams. In fact, Las Vegas even had a CFL team, but that was shortly lived, and the next season, all of these teams disbanded.
I messed up on the fork. I said that the fork didn't get its fourth tine until 1950. My dyslexic ass. It's 1750, not 1950. Not a big deal, but it just makes it sound better. And lastly, I talked about that horse and the car and who would that come from. They came from a guy named Alex Stein. He was a columnist for the Milwaukee Sentinel. He wrote that in 1993, and then it became a popular internet saying, once again, proving Wisconsin better than Minnesota. Minnesota has to be like the Canada to Wisconsin, right?
No.
Like they win championships. They got more lakes. They got the Dells. You got like a big rundown mall. But
best thing to ever come out of Wisconsin was the road to Minnesota.
I wonder if we're going to lose you here. This is where you're supposed to cut off. Yeah,
nobody cuts me off.
Yeah.
No bartender has ever managed to do that.
We talked about sponsorship. I made a joke about it, but I've been actively trying to find a sponsorship. I haven't been able to find anything. I found something that's potentially in the works. There's a new app that's coming out, or a website. It's called findmyfourth.com, and it's basically a pickleball app. And I'm hoping to kind of work with these guys. It's in the beta stages, so if anybody's listening that likes pickleball, go check out Find My Fourth.
Let's make it bigger. We can incorporate golf in that too.
Wow, that's a good idea. It's an entrepreneur couple. I'll try to get them on. But the greatest thing about this app, and this is probably would work for golf as well, is in pickleball, they have all these apps and you kind of sign up for a game. And sometimes you have 3 players and you need a fourth. And everybody's sending group text and like, hey, can anybody play? I need a fourth. The app does all that for you. Even more so, this is, I think the bigger part is if you have 4 and one of the guys drops out and you don't know, and then you show up and there's 3 people, that's the worst. In this app, if somebody drops out, it automatically starts pinging people. Hey, we need a fourth. We need a fourth. We need a fourth. So check it out. Well, hopefully we can get them on.
I'm going to bring this up to my Menage a Trois group if we're ever looking for a fourth. Menage a Trois.
Yeah, I know. But what are you going to bring in? A third dude? All right. So you and I got a text from Abu out of the blue that said, I had a parrot. And I was like, what was he talking about? And then I re-listened to the show and we brought up Abu and a parrot, but he named his parrot Abu, which is a weird thing. He taught the parrot to say, Abu wants a cracker, which kind of
did end up marrying a white woman. So makes sense. Maybe he didn't teach the parrot that. The parrot already knew. He was looking through his nudie magazines. Abu, you little dirty bird.
Hey, so let me ask you this. Obviously, cracker is a white slur. I don't think it offends you and me, but what is your favorite white slur? So we have honky, redneck, hillbilly, gringo, cracker. What is there anything I'm missing? White boy, maybe?
Cuero.
Yeah.
In Spanish, yeah.
I like honky. I think honky's my favorite, but
especially if you're at the tonk.
Honky
enjoy
tonk.
It. Yeah.
White men can't jump. I don't think they can make that movie today.
They probably could. They just couldn't name it that.
Yeah. Okay. I can't make a movie that says black men can't swim.
No, you couldn't. The WNBA would probably send you a cease and desist.
Unless you were making the movie about the swimmer from college and it stars Elliot Page as the man.
And state swimmer.
Yeah. Well, Leah Thomas, I think.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. You got to get him on the show.
Oh, no, it's a her. Come on, Nate. Please. You got to be inclusive here. So my dad reached out to me.
That's nice. It's only been almost 50 years.
Yeah. I was like, hey, I think I might be your dad. I was like, oh, I think so too. So my dad reached out to me and he hasn't reached out about the show. He wanted to let me know that he listened to the show and he had some problems with what I said about Trump and the big fart and that he's not funny. He's going to lose the midterms. He was pretty upset. So I was like, Dad, that was just a bit. Let me send you this Tony Fauci bit that we did before we published it. I sent it to him and he responded and said, yeah, I like Dave Chappelle. Have you seen his Fauci bit? I was like, oh, Dad, no, I don't. But Dave Chappelle is the best comedian of all time, arguably, and has a great team around him. And it's just me and Nate. And he's like, yeah, you should check out Dave Chappelle. He's pretty funny. I was like, okay, Dad.
That's nice of him to put us in the same, even in the same category as Dave Chappelle.
Sometimes it's the pointing out the obvious stuff that hurts. Obviously, I know that I'm not Dave Chappelle. I'm trying to think of an analogy, but Dave Chappelle,
more like gay Chappelle.
Dave Chappelle had a bit where he talked about pre-ejaculation or what do you call it? Not pre-ejaculation. What's it called? Where you ejaculate too early?
Yeah, it's pre-ejaculation.
No,
you got it.
No, that's the other one. It's
a
early ejaculation.
No, put the words together. Before, ejaculation means to come in your pants.
No, yeah, but I'm talking about when you do it with a lady and it's too fast. Yeah.
Premature ejaculator? Why you got to bring that up?
Yeah, fast ejaculation.
You've got me a little confused here. What do you mean too fast? I've never heard of such a thing.
Oh. Yeah.
Isn't that the point? Okay.
Yeah, exactly. That was his whole bit of the joke, was that it's never too fast. He's right on time, but that's not the truth. I don't know if you're like me. I like sex, but the minute I like sex too much, it's over. So most of sex is me trying not to like sex. But there have been times that I've liked it a little too early. And she said, oh, did you just? And you're like, no, I didn't. No, the little guy sneezed. He has a cold. Calm down. We'll try again in a little bit.
So Abu sneezed and you came early? Sorry, Abu. Wish your sex life was better.
Yeah, that just didn't go where I thought it was going to go. I'm trying to think if I could say anything that's obvious, but yeah, anyway. Sophia Cunningham is in the news. I know she's a big fan of yours, or the other way around. You're a big fan of hers. She basically came out and said, I don't want men playing in women's sports, and that's it. Now, not only is she transphobic, she's also a racist and a bigot, and they're choking her out, and she's got white privilege. It's a sad state that the world is in, but you can't disagree with people anymore. And the minute that you do, you are this.
I mean, jealousy has been around since the beginning of time. People get hateful towards somebody that's just got it. Sophie's got it. She's a hit in social media. WNBA, I think, is a better place with her in it. She has taken over being the face, I think, over Miss Clark, but people just fucking hate her, man. That was an intentional foul. Everybody knows that, except for her head coach. Sophie's head coach, for whatever reason, took the side of, what's her name? Joanna?
Joanna Bonner.
It's not even Joanna. It's a different Giovanna. But
okay.
Yeah, wild to me.
This whole thing is about boys playing sports with girls. And right now, they're not really playing in the big sport. They're swimming or they're running track and they're dominating. And it's not as much as maybe the right wants you to believe, but it's not zero. The challenge that you have is there is a fundamental difference between men and women and girls and boys. The IOC knows this. So they recently came out with a ruling that says only girls can play in girl sports and only men can compete in men's sports. And the reason being is because every record holder in an Olympic athletic sport, the man has a superior advantage, like 10 to 20% better than the woman. So if you look at the most premier event in all track and field.
Well, maybe that's because they don't have the right sports. Like if you put making a sandwich in the Olympics.
You're just going to get in trouble. All right. So you have the 100-yard. You have the 100-yard dash. The fastest woman in the 100-yard dash is a lady named Florence Griffin Joyner, or Flojo. She ran a 10.6 second 100-yard dash. The fastest man is the fastest man in the world, Usain Bolt, who ran a 9.6, almost a second faster. When you go to the 200-yard dash, they are still 1 and 2, 1 and 1, I guess you would say. The distance grows. It's almost 20% faster in the 200 yards. Now, you could say, well, that's not fair. Usain Bolt was the fastest person to ever live. So comparing her to him is not fair. Sure. Her 10.6 doesn't put her in the top 10 fastest time. It doesn't put her in the top 100 fastest time. It doesn't put her in the top 1,000 fastest time. It puts her right about the 6,000th fastest time. This is the fastest woman in the world. And when she goes up against other fast men, she's 6,000th fastest. This is true across all sports. Look at the shot put. The shot put, the man throws a 16-pound ball and the record is 23 meters. The women throw an 8.8-pound ball and the record is 22 meters. So half the size, half the weight, and still 1 meter less. When you talk about why people are outraged that men are competing or boys are competing with girls, this is why. It's not I'm against trans. You can be for trans people and say, I don't think that a man should go into a woman's locker room and put lotion on his balls. There's two separate things there.
Yeah.
2 NBA players that just declared themselves eligible for the WNBA draft.
At first, I was with Sophia. I hope men never play in the WNBA, but at this point, it would be hilarious just to watch it blow up. In the matter of 2 years, there'll not be a single woman in Women's National Basketball Association.
So they won't let it happen. They're going to meet this week. They're going to adopt the IOC standards. They're going to come out and say real men are trying to overshadow the real trans women and blah, blah, blah. They're going to make it out to be it's everybody else's fault that they have to do this. But the CBA says that you have to be a woman. It just doesn't define a woman. They will define a woman by using the Olympic standards. This will kind of all blow over. It's just bananas to me that they would allow boys to go compete against girls and act like it's apples for apples. There was a guy named Pablo Torres who came out and said this.
That's a sentence where it's like, well, yeah, LeBron James shouldn't be allowed to play in the WNBA.
Men are better at sports than women is the most ancient argument that men love to make.
Yes.
And moving anybody off of that is this total red herring.
It's not a red herring, Nate. We just displayed the difference between the men in sports. Do you remember Rachel Drazel? Probably not. She was the white woman that pretended she was black and was on the NAACP. And the minute that everybody found out she was black, they booted her off and she got exiled and she's on OnlyFans now.
When they found out she was white.
When she found out she was white. Sorry.
Got it.
Right. They were in outrage. So a woman pretending to be a different race, nobody wants it. But a woman pretending to be a man, 100% A-okay, no problems. Let's just pretend like we didn't see what we saw there.
I don't know. Kamala Harris pretends to be Indian and black at the same time, whatever day of the week she chooses.
You say she goes back and forth between those heritage, but those are her actual heritages.
But she chooses to be just one at certain points.
Oh, they all choose. You ever seen the clip of Hillary Clinton where she's all of a sudden a Southern lady?
I don't feel no ways tired. I come too far from where I started from. Nobody told me that the road would be easy.
AOC did the same thing too not too long ago, talking with a Southern drawl.
We cannot afford to leave Tennessee behind. We cannot afford to leave Kentucky behind, Alabama behind, Mississippi behind.
I spent 5 minutes down in Louisiana, and here I am.
I'm blanking the name of the senator that Trump likes to make fun of, Sacagawea. What was her name again?
Elizabeth Warren.
There you go. Yeah. I'm Native American. No, you're not.
And he calls her Pocahontas.
There you go.
That's a perfect example. She was not Native American. She went and took advantage of things that were for Native Americans. Now, these men are taking advantage of things that are built for women. And everybody's like, oh, you have to be inclusive. They have to be nice.
I'm shocked this is even still a thing. I thought when the DEI was not necessarily being abolished, but not being championed like it was prior to Trump taking office, one would think that this whole transgender in sports thing would have kind of fizzled away, but somehow it's gaining steam and I don't get it. But once the WNBA does make a decision, which we both know that they will, defining a woman, hopefully it kind of peters away. But the WNBA has never been in the news like it has in the last, I don't know, year, and the transgender stuff just keeps giving it more popularity. Yet they still don't make any money.
I think this all dies here this week when they come out and say, we're going to follow the IOC standards. Men will not play in WNBA, but we won't be used as political pawns and blah, 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 blah. And white people are bad. It's going to be the statement. And they still support trans rights, just not against us. It's I want to give people free housing, but I don't want them living in my neighborhood.
I'm sure the Chicago Liberty will change their mascot to the trans or something like that.
New York Liberty.
Sorry, Chicago Sky. We'll be the Chicago guys.
Yeah, I was just going to go with that. Man, I hope this is recording. Actually, there's some parts I hope aren't recording. Trump just announced or just released a $100,000 True Social access. So if you don't know what this is, it allows an API from a hedge fund that has an algorithm trading to get these posts from him or some other people on his platform, maybe a half a second to a second before anybody else. And you may think, oh, that's not a big deal. It's a huge deal. And he's charging $100,000 for this. And the reason why it's a big deal is because these computer systems that he's feeding it to get in front of all the other traders, all retail, everybody else, and are able to move the market and profit from this. So once again, you have Trump doing things that seem to be for the rich and screwing over the little guy while enriching himself.
Okay. But would the poor be trading stocks anyway? Probably not. It's basically letting the rich have a better advantage over the rich.
Not necessarily. There's a lot of retail traders. There's a lot of day traders that sit in front of a computer with their mouse ready to click on a trade. And now you have these algorithms. Now, to put this into perspective, if you have an algorithm trading platform like some of these big guys do, and you buy this data from Bloomberg and things of that nature as well, it costs about $1 million to $3 million a year just to have that system in place, because it gives you such a competitive advantage. And now he's selling that to people. Right now, rent's too high. gas is too high, food is too high. And then you have trillionaires and billionaires. And this is why the socialist movement is rapidly expanding because of blatantly corrupt stuff like this. And this is blatantly corrupt. And I know my dad's going to get pissed off when he listens, but he's selling information to rich people as a president. And that's not right.
I'm with you that he's using his power to an unfair advantage, I guess, to others. But is there any law or rule that states that he can't have competition? Meaning that, is there somebody else that could come out that gives a 2-second notice opposed to his 1 second that could put him out of business?
Yes, there is a law, and I'll look it up and we'll go back. I think it's the 2012 where it says that a politician cannot benefit from their position. Basically, you can't use information that you have to enrich yourself. And that's exactly what he's doing. He has information and he's selling it a millimeter to a half a second. And they're saying, no, it's the same. We're releasing it. They just have a quicker internet connection than the guy that's sitting in front of his computer. Because by the time the guy sees the post that, hey, we're bombing Iran and the market starts to tank, by that point, the algorithm has already sold everything. And now you're left with a loss.
He's giving insider trading essentially from what the government's about to do. Okay.
100%. And it's a millisecond before everybody else. But these computers, they move in such a rapid speed now and with such precision that the minute that it comes out, and they automatically sell everything or automatically buy everything based upon this information. It's a huge deal. I think this is going to be another thing that when they take the House and Senate, it's just going to ruin the next 2 years of his presidency, and it's going to be a standstill in Washington once again. It's just a shame. It's a bad look. So socialism, it's not going to stop. It's going to keep going. Socialism is weird. It doesn't work. Everybody knows it doesn't work, but they think that the corporations are bad and the government's good. So stop giving money to corporations. They're greedy, and give money to the government and they're good. It's not going to work. But
I get a kick out of that one guy on his team that was selling, or now he's profiting from Kelshi by knowing what Trump was going to say in one of his press conferences.
That was his teleprompter guy.
Yeah.
And he talked about him. He's like, I got the best teleprompter guy. He knows just how to move my screen. Some guys move too fast. He's the best. Yeah, he was making a lot of money. Everybody's making a lot of money. His whole family's making a lot of money. And again, we've talked about this. He's going to pardon everybody and they're just going to walk away with billions and billions of dollars. And it's just a bad look, man. You can't shake it. He is the reason why socialism is going to take over for a short period of time. And then when people realize it don't work, we'll go back. But how long do you have to wait for them to see that?
I don't think socialism you can actually really trail back, man. It will take a civil war in order to cut that out.
It works in Norway. Like, who wants to live in Norway? That's why it works. You have to give people free shit for them not to leave. Sweden, too.
Yeah, they're both pretty bad that way.
All right, let's just keep going. I'm pissed off now. We had a new segment called Shady Like a Tree. You got any shady corporations, Nate, that you want to talk about? Anything shady?
Yeah, this company that is selling information to the public about what the stock market's about to turn.
Yeah, it is shady. However, I will give you an example of shady like a tree. I went to get gas the other day, and the gas usually goes from left to right. It goes unleaded, plus, and then premium. And this company went premium plus unleaded. And I was like, they almost got me. But what's even shadier than that, and this is usually those gas stations that just says gas on the big sign, is where they put the regular in the middle. And for that, those companies are shady like a tree.
So next to my house, there is a Green Valley grocery gas station. And there for a while, they're putting the large Trulies, buy two, get one free. So the deal was awesome. I think it's 2 for $5.50. And then you get that third one for free. And it's cheaper than buying a 12-pack. So I was doing that when I come home from work every now and then. They have since gotten rid of the buy two, get one. And they increased the buy two to $6. But I'm an addict. So I go in there hoping, and I forget sometimes too that they took that deal away. But I go in there hoping that buy two, get one still there. And it's not. Now I'm paying more money for two than I was even prior to that. So
is that shady, or is it just an end of a promotion?
I don't know. It's good business. Those bastards, they got me.
Let's talk about Canada.
Canada sucks at pickleball. Canada sucks at pickleball.
Fuck Canada.
Well, you can tell that's a new Canadian song. We're going to talk about pickleball. I played in Vegas on Monday after the show, and one of the guys that showed up at the court was a Canadian guy. There's a big difference between rec play and rated play. And rec play is just a lot of guys trying to hit balls as hard as they can, and they hit those shots because those are usually winners. And in rated play, that doesn't work. He came in, started hitting the ball as hard as he could, and that's just not going to work against me. So he started to get a little aggravated. So he hit a pretty good shot. I'll give him credit for that. That went between my legs, and he said, "Oh, through the 5-hole, eh?" And he goes, "You probably don't know what that means. You're an American." And I go, "Actually, I do know what that means. I'm an American, and the Stanley Cup has been here for 26 straight years. And he's like, oh, and he proceeded to get his ass kicked. And as we were shaking it off at the end, he like aggressively hit me on the shoulder. Hey, all those 26 Stanley Cup, the majority of the players were Canadian. You know that, right? I was like, yeah. I go, hey, how many Canadians were on the gold medal team this year? And my man lost it. And he was like, oh, you Americans, you think you're so hot. You think you're so great. Oh, yeah. And eventually he packed up and he left. Now, I will say this. If he had Find My Fourth, he wouldn't have been playing with me because he would have been playing with people more his level. He was from Calgary, by the way. And I sent him home a little pissed off. I think I called him a hoser as he was leaving.
Was that meant to be your best Canadian accent?
That was not a good Canadian accent? Hey.
I mean, you got the words right, but yeah, I don't know. It sounded more like you're a Colombian trying to be Swiss or something.
Oh, hey, that's what I'm talking about. Oh, Nathaniel, hey, I'm sorry. You want to go down, catch some walleye? No. Do they have walleye in Canada? Yeah, of course.
They call them wall spectacles in Canada.
Walls. That's, listen, at least there's some good jokes, man. This one's not going the way I wanted it to. I had high hopes for this one. Yeah.
Don't sell yourself short. We can bounce back.
You got any headlocks?
Fuck, I was going to do that right before I got on.
That's okay. Your headlocks lost last week anyway, so
we
can do, let's just do this. So in today's headlocks, we won't talk about the WNBA, but we will talk about NFL. We had our first NFL game on Thursday, and week 1 of the preseason is underway this week. Week 1 of the NFL lines are out as well. I got a headlock for you.
Headlocks of the day.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers catching 3.5 versus the Cincinnati Bengals. Bengals are your pick to go to the Super Bowl. I think they stink. Their defense stinks. They got Joe Burrow, but 3.5, that's an early headlock.
I can only assume this game is played in Cincinnati.
Yeah, it has to be. There's no way the Bucs are catching 3 at home.
Baker Mayfield seems a little upset being in Tampa Bay right now. So you think he will suit up?
He's playing for money.
Shut up.
Anytime they're playing for money, they have their best year.
All right.
That's just how it goes. So I got Baker. I'm going to draft in my fantasy draft. Here we go. Fantasy football's coming up. You have the number 1 picked in fantasy draft. Who are you going with, Gibbs or Robinson?
So Gibbs is the lone back now in Detroit, right?
Yep. Montgomery's gone. But so is Robinson because Algier's gone. Both of them just became very appealing.
But Montgomery took at least 25% to 33% of the carries, I think, in Detroit. Detroit's the better team. Offense is great. Defense is great. Their offensive line is still probably the best in the NFL. The Atlanta Falcons, cruddy division, could make the playoffs only because of that. But I couldn't name you one other weapon other than Bijan Robinson on that team right now.
London, Mooney.
They're not a Jamar Chase. They're not Justin Jefferson. I don't know. Gibbs is probably the number 1 pick.
Who's a third running back picked? Who comes off the board number 3?
Saquon Barkley?
Yeah, maybe. I had him last year. He sucked. I hate him. I had Jonathan Taylor last year, who was fire all the way till the end when I needed him to be good, and then he stunk. But the quarterback got hurt, and they just loaded the box on him. I think Jonathan Taylor is number 3.
I hope I get the number 1 pick and you get the number 3 pick in our draft this year.
Listen, you get 1 or 2, you're probably going to make the playoffs. That's just how good those guys are. So what about tight ends? And that's always a tricky one. You got Bowers and you have McBride. McBride was like one of the top 3 pass catching wide receivers or tight ends in the league last year. Bowers is just so good, and you got Kirk Cousins. Which tight end you going with?
What's Kirk Cousins got to do with anything?
What do you mean? He's the quarterback for the Raiders.
He's the backup quarterback for the Raiders.
You think he's going to be the backup? You think Mendoza's going to start?
I think Mendoza starts.
Okay, either way.
I take that back. You are right. Kirk Cousins will start. Mendoza will be the starter by week 8. So do you want Brock Bowers going into the season? Obviously, he will play good. Maybe. Kirk Cousins wasn't really a big tight end targeter to begin with. So I don't know if that's going to help. He does sling the ball a little bit, usually to the opposing team. Mendoza will be the starter week 8, which does have a rocket arm. As you go into the playoffs of fantasy football, Brock Bowers will be your guy. What about Travis Kelce this year?
No, he's done. He's over.
That guy's got a bigger gut than I do right now.
You got to take Pitts. The guy from Cleveland is going to have a bigger year. Dallas, there's all kinds. Loveland from Chicago, I wouldn't touch him unless it was like right before the kicker. Wide receiver.
Or if you put on a wig.
I'd touch him even without a wig. Wide receiver. Who is the number 1 wide receiver?
Jamar Chase.
Okay. who's number 2?
He's going to be on that Super Bowl caliber Bengals team, brother.
Yeah, Jamar Chase is clearly number 1. That begs the question, who's number 2? That's where I think it gets interesting.
You got to go with, you got to look at either the Rams or the Seahawks at that point.
Pikachu, is that his name? Pikachu? I don't know. That's from Pikachu is from, what's that shit where you go find stuff, the little animals? What is that called? Pikachu's one of those guys. What's the shit where they take the phone and all the ladies were finding them? Nah, it doesn't matter. This show sucks this week anyway. Puka Nacua, what about Jefferson?
I don't know, man. I've seen some clips of Kyler Murray slinging the ball, and I don't have high hopes for the Vikings this year.
Yeah. What else we want to talk? Anything in sports? Robin Hood's bouncing back. It was at an 82. It's at 95. It's pushing its way back to 100. SpaceX bounced back. It's crazy. SpaceX had what I thought was a very good quarter, and it just dropped down to like 106, and now it's back up to 130. They had a fantastic quarter. The guidance Musk gave and where the company can go, it's pretty spectacular, to be honest with you.
So driving to work, I think it was last week, in the eastbound direction, I did watch a SpaceX launch, which was kind of cool. You see a rocket going through the air, the vapor cloud behind it, but I hadn't heard anything on the news what that rocket was doing.
That was the spaceship, Starship, the massive one. So there's these new satellites for Starlink. It's the V3, I think they're called. And it was a test to see if it could handle the heat shield, and it worked. So Starlink is going to go up. They're going to get even more coverage. Starlink is part of SpaceX, but all Teslas are going to have Starlink in them at some point, and that's going to allow Tesla to have internet on all of them, and they're going to be able to communicate between each other. Starlink, Tesla, it's going to be the biggest company in the history of the world. So it's definitely got to get in now. I've been waiting. I'm going to buy it this week.
Attaboy, get down.
I say that, and then I'll be here next week. Oh, I didn't decide not to do it. I'm such a chode sometimes.
Certainly look like one, Bob.
Thanks. I appreciate it. We'll wrap this show up. I've been reaching out to some of our early listeners, our early commentators. We reached out to Jason Smith. I asked him to listen to the show. I think he did. He's got to listen to it in 2. So he listened to the last one. You got to put 2 shows together for us, because a lot of our show kind of to look back. So we'll get him to watch this one and get his opinion. He was our first commentator. We invited him on the show, but our second commentator was a guy named Christopher Outlaw. I invited him on the show, and he's accepted. So he'll be on the show next week. He's going to tell us why Tom Brady sucks, whatever else he wants to talk about. But we're excited to have a guest host next week.
I mean, to make the claims Tom Brady sucks, he's going to have at least a month's worth of research in order to come at us with that.
His research was Gronkowski was better. I don't know, something stupid. Anyway, we're going to get him on the show.
Okay.
So Christopher Outlaw, get ready. We look forward to having you. Nathaniel, that wraps it up. We'll see if this recorded.
All right. Hopefully not.
Adios, my friend.
Later.
Bye.
Bob and Nate, true American heroes.